Let's start with a simple question. What does retirement really feel like? Not the version you see in brochures, smiling couples on sailboats, backyard barbecues with grandchildren, or long walks along sunny beaches. What does it truly feel like? When the applause fades, the office door closes for the last time, and the alarm clock becomes irrelevant. For millions of Americans over 60, retirement doesn't bring the joy they were promised. Instead, it sneaks in like a quiet stranger, slowly turning golden dreams into gray silence. And many are left whispering the same 4 words to themselves, day after day. I wasn't ready yet. Chapter 1. The Dream of Retirement, the Golden Years. It's a concept that many of us look forward to for decades. For years, we envision it as a time when we'll finally be able to rest, to explore, to do all the things we didn't have time for during our working lives. The image we paint in our minds is often idyllic. Long walks on the beach, leisurely afternoons in the garden, travel adventures, and endless days of relaxation. For many, retirement is viewed as the end of the daily grind. The moment when work, stress, deadlines, and obligations fade into the background, allowing for a newfound freedom. It is the promise of having control over how you spend your time. And who wouldn't dream of that? But the reality of retirement often doesn't align with this idealized vision. As people approach their retirement years, they may begin to realize that the transition is not as simple as stepping away from work. For some, it becomes a major life shift, one that comes with unexpected emotional and psychological challenges. This chapter delves into the dreams and expectations we have about retirement, and how those dreams can sometimes clash with the reality of what it truly means to stop working. Chapter 2. The unexpected struggles when the reality of retirement begins to settle in. Many retirees are hit with an unexpected wave of emotions. Despite what society often portrays about this stage of life, retirement is not always synonymous with joy and freedom. In fact, for many, it can bring feelings of loss, anxiety, and even regret. The first struggle is often the loss of purpose. For years, we're provided a sense of structure and identity. You were a teacher, a doctor, a business owner, or an engineer. Work defined who you were, gave you a sense of accomplishment, and established a rhythm in your daily life. But once you retire, that structure is gone. Without the demands of a job, retirees may feel lost. The question, who am I now, becomes central to the experience. Many retirees feel as though they have lost their sense of self, and this emotional void can lead to a sense of emptiness. They miss the feeling of contributing to society or the satisfaction that comes with a job well done. Another significant challenge is the shift in social dynamics. For many people, work was a place where they built friendships and social networks. From casual conversations at the coffee machine to shared projects and team meetings, work was a social hub. But retirement can feel like a drastic reduction in social interaction. The daily connections that once filled your life now seem to evaporate. For retirees who don't immediately fill this social gap, loneliness can creep in. The silence in the home, the lack of daily interaction with colleagues, can be jarring. In fact, loneliness is one of the most common feelings reported by retirees, and it's not just about missing people. It's about missing the purpose those relationships once provided. The financial aspect of retirement, too, is often fraught with unexpected challenges. Many people assume that after decades of working and saving, their retirement savings will carry them through the years comfortably. However, the reality is that managing finances in retirement can be much more complex than anticipated. Healthcare costs, inflation, and unexpected expenses can all put a strain on retirement funds. As a result, many retirees find themselves struggling to adjust their lifestyles to fit within their new financial constraints. All of these struggles can lead to feelings of regret. Retirees often look back and wonder whether they made the right decision to leave their careers. Could they have continued working longer? Should they have saved more or planned differently? These questions can be difficult to confront, as they force individuals to grapple with the choices they made and the realities they now face. Chapter 3. The Value of Work and the Emotional Impact of Retirement. As we step into retirement, The idea of leaving work behind can bring relief to many, but can also trigger an underlying emotional turbulence. For many retirees, work is not just about earning a paycheck. It's about purpose, identity, and structure. The routine of waking up to a job, contributing to society, and having daily interactions all play a significant role in how we perceive ourselves. When we retire, we may find ourselves asking, "Who am I now?" The sense of purpose that came with being a worker is suddenly gone. This identity shift can be unsettling. For men in particular, retirement can bring a sense of losing control. They might have spent their entire lives building careers, climbing ladders, and being seen as competent, capable individuals. Now, with the transition to retirement, they can feel a sense of invisibility. But it's not just about purpose. It's about connection. Work often provides us with relationships that are difficult to replicate in retirement. The workplace offers social structures, coworkers, meetings, deadlines, and shared goals. These interactions help stave off loneliness, which is an issue that intensifies for many as they grow older. Research shows that loneliness can be just as harmful as physical ailments like heart disease or diabetes. It has been linked to a higher risk of depression, cognitive decline, and even early mortality. Retirees who struggle with loneliness often find themselves yearning for the social networks they had in their professional lives. And even those who are fortunate to have a supportive family may feel the absence of those daily interactions that once filled their time. Chapter 4. Financial Considerations and Regret Money. Often considered the final frontier in retirement planning, can become a central source of stress. Despite years of saving, many retirees find themselves struggling to adjust to life on a fixed income. When people first retire, they imagine that the pressures of earning money and managing a career will fade away. But the reality can be quite different. Many retirees have to rethink their spending habits, recalibrate their expectations, and sometimes even face hard choices like downsizing their homes or cutting back on vacations. Financial regret often arises when retirees look back and wonder if they could have saved more, invested more wisely, or planned better for their future. The truth is, even those who plan meticulously can find themselves in precarious financial positions as they realize that they underestimated the costs of retirement. Unexpected healthcare expenses, for example, can be crippling. Consider the case of John, who worked as an accountant for over 30 years. On the surface, John had done everything right. He saved for retirement, avoided risky investments, and lived frugally. Yet, after retiring, he found himself struggling with the cost of his wife's health care and his own increasing medical bills. He never imagined that these expenses would consume so much of his savings. John's story is not unique. Many retirees discover that they are not as financially prepared as they thought. They find themselves scrambling to make ends meet or relying on family to help bridge the gap. Chapter 5. The impact of retirement on relationships. Retirement not only affects the individual, but also has a profound impact on relationships. Spouses who have spent their lives living with the routine of work schedules suddenly find themselves at home all day, every day. For some, this brings them closer together. They finally have the time to nurture the bond they've shared over the years. However, for others, the change can create a strain. The quietness of the house can feel overwhelming, and the adjustment to being with each other all day long can lead to tensions. After decades of spending time apart during working hours, couples must relearn how to share their space. The absence of work-related conversations may leave couples feeling disconnected from one another. The once simple interactions, talking about the challenges of the day at the office or discussing what happened during a commute, are no longer there. For some retirees, the silence in the home is deafening. They long for the buzz of their old lives, and the intimacy they once shared feels lost in the monotony of everyday existence. A strong relationship can help soften the challenges of retirement, but a strained relationship can be exacerbated by the constant proximity and lack of personal space. Chapter 6. A sense of loss and grief. Another unexpected aspect of retirement is the feeling of loss. It's a loss of routine, of self-identity, of the connections to colleagues, of the simple joy that comes with a job well done. It's natural to grieve the life you once had. In fact, it's vital to acknowledge this grief. Many retirees deny their sense of loss, brushing it aside in favor of focusing on the positives of retirement. But unacknowledged grief can lead to a sense of emotional numbness. The emotional toll of retirement can be compounded by physical changes. As you age, your body may not function the way it once did. You may experience health issues that limit your independence or activities you once enjoyed. This too is a form of loss. The grief may not just be about what you've left behind, but also about the things you didn't get to do during your working years. The retirement dream of traveling the world or picking up new hobbies might be clouded by the reality of aging bodies and limitations. The grief can take many forms, but it is important to allow yourself the space to process it. Chapter 7. How to find fulfillment after retirement. The good news is that it's possible to navigate this emotional landscape and find joy in retirement, even after facing the inevitable challenges. One of the key ways to do this is to find new sources of purpose and fulfillment. Volunteer work can be incredibly rewarding. Many retirees find that giving back to the community not only provides a sense of purpose, but also brings joy and satisfaction. Volunteering can help establish new social connections, making up for some of the loss of workplace relationships. It can also be an opportunity to explore new interests or develop new skills. Some retirees find that taking up a hobby, even something they hadn't had time for earlier in life, can give them a renewed sense of purpose. This might include painting, writing, photography, or learning a new language. Retirement also offers an opportunity to reconnect with family and friends. Spending time with loved ones, whether it's through travel, regular visits, or simple daily activities, can help counteract feelings of loneliness and disconnection. And it's important to stay active physically and mentally. Exercise, yoga, and even walking are vital for maintaining health and well-being in retirement. Mental stimulation through reading, puzzles, or learning new things keeps the mind sharp and engaged. Finally, it's crucial to accept that retirement may not always be the blissful, carefree experience that it's often portrayed as. It may take time to adjust, and there may be ups and downs along the way. However, with the right mindset, support systems, and a willingness to embrace change, it can also be a time of growth, discovery, and renewed joy. As we've seen throughout this journey, the dream of retirement can quickly turn into a complex, unpredictable reality. What was once imagined as the culmination of a lifetime of hard work and sacrifice can, for many, become a time filled with uncertainty, loss, and sometimes regret. The emotional roller coaster of stepping into retirement, filled with both highs and lows, can be jarring, but it's also deeply human. The transition from working life to retirement is not something that should be approached with a simplistic view. It requires preparation mentally, emotionally, and financially. Many people walk into retirement expecting it to be a smooth, restful phase of life, but it's not always that easy. The truth is that retirement requires as much planning as any other major life event. It's not just about the financial aspects, though those are certainly crucial, but about adjusting to a new identity, establishing a new routine, and finding new ways to remain engaged with life. The feeling of loss, whether it's loss of purpose, identity, or social connections, is a common thread throughout many retirees' experiences. Yet, it's important to remember that these feelings are not signs of failure. They are part of a natural process of growth and adjustment. With time, many retirees come to realize that this stage of life doesn't need to be defined by the same markers of success that characterize their working years. Instead, retirement can become an opportunity to rediscover passions, build new relationships, and pursue meaningful activities that align with personal values and interests. Retirees who are able to navigate this transition with flexibility and a willingness to redefine their lives often find that the second act of their lives can be just as fulfilling, if not more so, than the first. It may not look the way they originally envisioned, but it can still hold immense value. The key is to embrace the process, allowing yourself the grace to adapt, explore, and evolve. In the end, retirement is not an end, but a new beginning. It is a chance to reinvent oneself and live in alignment with what truly matters. While the path to this realization may come with its own set of challenges, it's through these struggles that many retirees find a deeper understanding of what it means to live a meaningful and satisfying life. For those who find themselves in the midst of this transition, or for those who are about to embark on it, remember that the process of reimagining your life in retirement isn't about getting it right or following a prescribed blueprint. It's about being open to change, embracing the unknown, and allowing yourself the space to create a life that feels truly your own. The journey may be filled with difficult questions, moments of doubt, and unforeseen obstacles, but it's also filled with opportunities for growth, joy, and discovery. So, while the regrets and struggles of retirement can't always be avoided, they can lead to a deeper, richer experience of life, one that continues to unfold regardless of age.